All right, I've never made a YouTube intro video for the podcast, but today I'm going to for two reasons. One, I really want to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel if you're down. I haven't really promoted the YouTube as much as I should, and the more and more I look into it, the more and more I think about it, I really think that it's an incredible place to discover podcasts and all that. And it's so small right now. So if you're down to subscribe, if you're down to tell your friends, just take a second, hit subscribe wherever it is. That's how bad I am at doing the YouTube guy thing. Hit subscribe, hit subscribe, hit subscribe. I don't know where it is. Hit subscribe. The second thing is this video starts about 30 minutes into the actual interview. I had my friend Andrew Doyle on to talk all about merchandise, how to make merch, all of the ins and outs, every fundamental you need to know to start making merch for your artist project. And the first 30 minutes is him telling his story, which is incredible. But I didn't want to make this video too long. So if you're super interested in his story, go listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. And this video is just us talking specifically about how to make merch. All right, there it is. Enjoy, subscribe. So now to fast forward a little bit, you literally went from no equipment, a space in LA, chasing a dream to now being at a spot where you have a very successful merchandise company and you run stores for massive names. You make like a cool spot to tie it in with the listener is when I think the first big project that we did together was I had made the version 3 tour. So it was like all of like the SoundCloud homies and everything coming together, and we did this tour, which was honestly pretty DIY, but a lot of those guys had never even made merch before. So you just took on this project and you're like, yeah, cool. Like, let's do it all. Short deadline, whatever. And they wanted to do a bunch of crazy custom stuff and you did it all. And we had known each other, but I feel like that was the thing that like really solidified the friendship. And it was my firsthand experience of like, not only do you have a very real company, it was just like the quality, the care, the understanding, everything. We had a merch shipment that UPS misdelivered and it got stuck in Philly. And I swear you were chasing that whole tour to get us that box. But it was like, dude, you have
It's like, oh,
all these clients and you just made it work and you put so much time and care. And like, I felt it like a similar feeling of like you being the person that you are and caring about your people. I felt that on a firsthand level. And I think after that, we got a little bit closer and I just really saw what you were doing and understood it even more and more. And it's just really impressive to me. Like, these are the stories I want to tell. These are the people I want to hear from because it's like, I know firsthand where you were. I didn't know all of those details. That's insane. But I know what you've been through to a degree, and I know the hard work and the person that you are. So seeing that translate now into like a very real, very successful company is really cool to me. And I really like to hear stories like that from people like you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that was a long time. I mean, that was 8 or 9 years ago, right?
Mm.
Fast forwarding, and it was a gradual process. We grew very organically, very controlled. Everything that we ever bought, we bought in cash, upfront. Like, we didn't lease things. We tried to do everything the safe, slow, smart way. And, we just moved into a bigger warehouse and a bigger warehouse and a bigger warehouse. And then multiple warehouses. Now we have 3 locations. And, it's a mixture of things. It's, yes, you have to put your head down and just get after it and grind it. And yeah, there's some times that really suck. I can think of some very long nights. I can think of periods in my life where I did little else but be at the shop, be printing orders, be, whatever. But it's also about creating a work environment that you enjoy. And, that's the thing that I think is the best part about being self-employed is you get to choose your environment. And the people that I have working for me here, and there's quite a few of them now, they're wonderful people. They're hard workers. They care about the work they do, but we've also developed, friendships here. Like, these are people that hang out after work, and like maybe people that otherwise wouldn't have come to be friends, have grown pretty tight and close. When we go out, we'll take the whole crew out a couple times a year. Not so much this year because it's a weird time to go to restaurants, but you know,
Yeah.
we're all together outside of here. Everyone's chopping it up. They're getting pretty rip roaring drunk, and we're having a good time. You know, and I think that that's really cool. And I think that that's my favorite part about what I do now. Is even though work can be stressful and it can be crazy, I love the people that I spend a lot of time with every day,
Yeah.
and I think that's a beautiful thing. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's this weird full circle thing where you understood what community was on the most genuine level way early in your life. And now, even though it's not a hardcore show at a house, you've brought community with you everywhere you've gone. And I think that that's incredible.
I think that that's important. I think that when you grow up in especially in a subculture like alternative music, that ethos follows you everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's definitely part of what's made me the level of success that I have, whatever you deem that to be.
Yeah.
It was integral in that. Like
Yeah.
there's you couldn't have this without all the things that happened growing up and
Yeah.
going through some of that crazy shit because it just it makes you who you are as a person and it drives your work ethic and how you interact with people and you know what your priorities are. And I think that that's
Totally.
a big part of what this shop has become because Bailey and I met on tour when he was in Gravemaker, and um, you know that friendship never stopped, and we always look out for the little guys still, you know, that
Yeah.
want to start stores or do their first merch run. You know, we get it. We've been there. We've toured. We've booked tour. We've been in many facets of this industry, and we
Yeah.
understand. And I think it's from that sense of understanding that we've been able to develop those relationships with people
I
because
think that's
they feel that.
Yeah. I think that's what really drew me to working with y'all too is like there's plenty merch companies that you can find and go to and they'll all be like, "Oh, customer service, this, that, and this." But to me this feels different. It's like, cool, there's customer service and then there's like we fucking live this. And like this is our scene, this is our circle, this is our community. And the amount of care and the amount of like just that, understanding what it's like to be a musician at any level, an artist, a creator at any level, and just want to help and understanding it. That translates so much. And for me, I relate to that and I want to work with people like that. And I feel it when I work with y'all. And that's just cool. So that is the perfect transition to the other part of this that I wanted to talk about, or the other part of the podcast that I wanted to get into is I think now more than ever, this has been a really weird year. Obviously, no one could have expected any of this, but we still have so many artists and creatives that certainly aren't going to stop. It's just been a lot of adapting. And I think that a lot of my listeners, granted, you know, everyone like there's a varying age range and experience, whatever, but I think that there is a large amount of my audience that is in some kind of like there's some kind of creative or they're managing a creative or they're interested in optimizing what they're doing. And I haven't really touched on merch and making things and any type of that. So I wanted to get into some specific questions on that with you to try to maybe help somebody that's been interested in this, been trying to step their game up, but doesn't necessarily know the right place to start.
Let's get into it.
Shall we?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So I guess I'm thinking like the very first thing is anybody can go online and like, what's the sites like Teespring, something like that. Explain the pros and cons. Like what happens when you're using something like that versus using a real company?
I don't want to speak directly to a given company.
Sure.
Just
Okay. So call it like,
but there are many companies that are sort of more catered towards okay, you have a baseball team and you want to do baseball team t-shirts and you only need 15 of them. You're going to pay a premium to get that done,
yes.
but you can get it done. You can get it done in small batch and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that formula. Particularly for certain settings, it's a really great resource. And it's necessary because not everyone needs larger batch merchandise. But
Right. It's very convenient if you want 15 shirts, and it doesn't really matter if you pay a premium towards that because you're only going to do that once.
and you're probably going to just forward that cost to parents and they're going to pay for it. You know what I mean? So it's that's
Yes.
not that big of a deal. But when you're an artist and you're trying to monetize merchandise, you can't really pay $15 a shirt when at most, especially if you're new, you're only able to sell it for 15 or $20. You're operating at a break even or slightly above break even, and that is a difficult. It's difficult to get motivated to do that
Yep.
because you're putting in all this work and
Yep.
you're getting almost no return. Um, what's funny about that is that's not a mistake that just people who small people, small like artists or new artists make. There are plenty of established businesses and brands that just don't know any better
Really?
and go that route. And I've taken some uh, of those situations and shown them, hey, send me your numbers. Like, this is what you did gross for the year, and this is what you paid per shirt, and this is what you sold the shirt for, and this is your profit. Say you paid $18 to get the shirt done because it's a direct fulfillment shirt and you only charge
Yep.
24 for it. You profited $6. If you believe in yourself and you believe in your project, print a small run, flip those numbers, pay $6 a shirt, sell it for
Yep.
24 and profit, 18. Those are the kinds of
Hmm.
numbers that make the return worth it. And I think that it's mostly just people not knowing better. I mean, those companies that do that, again, great service, super necessary. They also are big business. They have a lot of, I see like custom ink ads and stuff all the time on TV, and that's great. And so
Yep.
that's what's optically right in front of people. But I think for people, like people that would be listening to this podcast, for example, they understand, they see bands and stuff like that. I think they probably have a good sense that those bands aren't producing their merch through those types of companies.
Right.
They're going
Yeah.
through merch production companies and doing them in batches,
Yep.
and that doesn't necessarily mean hundreds of shirts. I mean, 30 to 60. We do orders like that all the time.
I
And
was going to ask you.
yeah,
Yeah, cuz I think like the necessity of like the .com print on demand kind of thing is like maybe you like are starting to pop off on TikTok, or you started a YouTube, and like you just like you have a bunch of people asking for merch. You don't really know, that's not your thing that you're focusing on, and you're like, "All right, whatever, I'll throw my logo on something, you can buy it." Cool. But then it's maybe just like you don't realize that it can be so much better and so much more optimized. And my next question for you was like, what's the smallest order that an artist can do?
I mean, it's kind of dependent on. That's a really broad question.
It sure is.
We it's we try to make decisions with the artist in mind in terms of, if you really want 5 shirts, we'll
Hmm.
do it, but you're gonna pay for that. I mean, because
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It takes so much time to set up.
Well,
So
here, let me rephrase a little.
we try to say, like, okay, if you've got kind of a standard, relatively simple design, we'll do 36 pieces for you, and that's
Yeah.
something that can be economical, and you can see a return on that where you're selling your shirts for 15 or $20 and you're able to make some money. Like,
Yeah. I
obviously,
guess
yeah, the more you print, the cheaper it is. But
I guess like the thing that I'm trying to paint is like the scenario and things like I want to. And maybe some of my listeners are listening, they're like, dude, this is so painfully redundant, but that's okay. Skip through. Like, I want to like start at like a very square one level, because I think there's a lot of artists that could be making cool merch that maybe just don't understand these things. So what I kind of wanted to specifically talk about is like getting to that like 36 to 100-ish line of merch, doing like finding your design, understanding the differences in blanks, understanding like the very basics of net terms or paying up front. Do you ship it all to your house, online fulfillment? Like, if you could paint me that picture of like your first proper merch run, what that looks like, things to consider.
people get really hung up on that. They think that it's this big, complicated process, and they have to have all this incredible know how and be super savvy and have all of their shit together before they submit an order. And yes, that's obviously excellent, but that's not the normal. I mean, a lot of people, we do merch for a lot of people that have never done merch before, and they are very upfront about that. And they're like, guide me. And we're perfectly happy to do that. We don't expect everyone to know, oh, I prefer a Bella Canvas shirt to an all style tee, or, like you might not know that. If that's not something you're paying attention to, we can walk you through that process. I
Yeah.
think for a lot of people, it's just give us an idea what your demographics like, or go grab a shirt out of your closet you really like. Tell me what's on the tag. We can give you a sense of direction, and we help even big, artists and stuff hone in what they really love, what their fans respond to. And that's done through testing. We put out shirts, we get feedback, we see what their core audience likes, because every demographic's different. So, not to get too far away from the original question, the short answer to that is bring your best, bring your idea to us, and we will help guide you, as will a lot of other merch companies. This isn't an advertisement for Overcast. There are a lot of great merch companies out there that will help guide you through that process. You don't have to have all of your shit together. That's our job, to help you get there.
Yeah.
And starting just on ground level, say you're a streamer, or or a TikToker, or you've got a new Twitch channel and you want to test that market. Believe in yourself. Put faith that you can move a couple dozen shirts, even if it's the friends and family. Even if you have to sell them discounted at the end. Believe in yourself. Put together a design that you like, that you think is reflective of your brand, and get it in motion, and fulfill those orders, and see what that looks like. I think the big thing that I took away from tour, like the kind of the tour booking world, is people will start to get ahead of themselves, and they think that they need services that they might not need. Like, not every band right out the gate needs a manager or an agent. There's something to be said for grinding that out on your own, and the connections that you make with people. And if you are, for instance, a brand new brand, or a brand new artist or streamer, or whatever, it's a really great way to connect with your fans. I mean, to sell merch, and you can slip in fun little things or little notes. Like, people appreciate those little gestures. And I think that, um, I'm not trying to downsell what we do on our e-commerce end, but I think there's some value in sort of learning how the process works. And, of course, if that's something that you want a company to handle for you, so you can focus on the creative, there's nothing wrong with that either. But
Yeah.
um, you know, it's a lot easier than people make it sound. I took a course
Yes.
in Iowa recently, and vaccine family, and I took a meeting on the phone with a client who's substantial. I mean, she's very, very intelligent. She's MIT educated, has a show on Netflix. And she's new to the merch game, and she was self-admitted in that. She's like, guide me through the process, and that's okay. Like, we don't expect everyone to be experts, and I'm
Yeah.
happy to walk through, people through that process, and there's no shame in that. That's our
Totally.
job. That's what we've spent years and years honing in, and being able to make those recommendations. So I think, and even for her, we got done with the conversation. She's like, oh, this is going to be way simpler than I thought. I thought I was going to be a year from launching a store, and we're going to have a store up and running by Black Friday.
Yeah. Yeah.
People overcomplicate,
Okay.
and it prevents them
Well,
from doing things.
yeah, it's funny. Like, it's an interesting answer that you came back with, because I think maybe well, I still do want to get specifics, but I like that you kind of stopped me there and you're like, well, it actually can be as simple as having an idea, because that's the whole reason you're a company, is you can take that. Because really, like, I guess we have done that. Like, I've brought you artists where it's like, this is the design, or like, we even had an artist that drew out their own design. Sometimes you can get a designer, or actually you guys probably even have in-house designers as well. So you could literally just be like, I saw this design, I like this kind of style, and come to you, and you could sketch it up.
Thing
You
like,
could.
it doesn't even have to be fully polished. Sorry to interrupt, but you can bring an idea to the table, even, or a
Mhm,
pencil sketch, and be like, can you do something like this on some shirts? Tell me what, and we can literally take that from the
and
beginning
go.
and help you develop it. I mean, that's what we're here for.
And I guess that's actually a benefit if you find a good merch company that's willing to work with you in your career, is instead of going to like a .com maker and having to upload like a final art and hope the resolution is good, whatever, you can just be like, I have this many fans. I want to make something that looks like this. What do I do? And you can be like, you should make about this many. It should cost about this much. It should be on this shirt, kind of thing, like whatever. So that is really cool. But for the nerdy technical side of me, I also want to talk about those things specifically a little bit. So for the sake of this conversation, let's use old podcaster Andrew and say that it's finally time to make some Where Are All My Friends merch. And I've got a whole big word full of a name and what do I do, whatever. But I come to you and I want to make, how do I word this? I guess I just want to talk about the specific things. So I have a design. I want to do it on a black shirt and it's going to be one specific ink. Um, what are some shirts like? What are some things as a that? Like, how many options are there? What are things to think with? Give me some specifics here.
Tons of options. And again, that's where we're going to pull that information out of you. Like, what's your core demographic? Do you think they're going to like American Apparel type stuff, or are we going, more like a standard Gildan or a all style tee?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the kinds of questions that we're going to immediately lead with. Like, do you know what blanks you want? No, you don't. Do you have an idea of the kind of shirts you like? Do you want them soft? Do you want them boxy? Do you want
Yeah, I want it. I want it boxy. About how much does that cost, and what are my options?
So, I mean, again, it's all sort of art dependent. But if you have a simple one color shirt and you're going to do 36 of them, and you're going to do it on a Gildan tee, you're going to end up, between $5 and $6 a shirt. I mean, that's
Not bad.
roughly where you're at. Um, and that price fluctuates with more complicated art or more placements, but it's very, I mean, if you're getting into the nitty gritty, it's very economical to do it this way. And
Yeah.
you're able to take this small batch of shirts, say it's for your podcast or a small batch hot sauce company or, a brand new band. You can take that online. You can sell that for $15 and you can make money. You
Yep.
know, it's
That's
that
beautiful.
you
I
will.
wanted just like a little bit of a that. Like I want to encourage people. Like I
It's not.
want people that
We'll tell
that's
you.
like my whole idea here.
We'll tell you how much it's going to cost,
Hmm.
and if that's too much, we'll figure out, okay, what's your actual budget, and try
Hmm.
and work within that and make some tweaks. Maybe you sent art that's it's too many colors, and if
Yeah,
we
I gave
more simple,
you
it'll
16 colors.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there are options, and so we will present those options to you and work with you to find something that works for you.
Nice. Okay. Let's talk about I'm watering down the things that I know because I want to make it so basic. What about fulfillment?
Okay.
Is this something that as an independent creator that I should worry about? Or what's more economical? Do I use you as fulfillment or do I have it all sent to my house?
So here, there's sort of two lines of thought here, and this is kind of really dependent on the person, how much time they're investing in their project. Like, is this their full tilt thing? Are they spending hours and hours of, doing research to put up YouTube videos, and they're doing all this editing? Do they have time to do the fulfillment? That's the first question. Do they have time?
Hmm.
Anyone in this era can build a Shopify or a big cartel or a Squarespace and sell merch online. You can do it yourself. It's not
Yep.
that difficult to figure out. Yeah, you might not make all the right decisions and you might end up paying too much in shipping or, whatever. But if you've got the time and you want to learn how to do it, it's not hard. There's plenty of resources, online to figure out how to do it. I pretty much everything that I know how to do in my career is thanks to YouTube University. It's free. It's
Yeah, boy.
you can just type in something that you want to learn, boom, and you're off. And I think that that's really cool. Now, if you don't want to do that, you have zero interest in doing e-commerce, you don't want to deal with customer service, you don't want to deal with shipping, you don't want to run to USPS right now, there's another option. We do e-commerce fulfillment for all sorts of different situations.
Yep.
YouTubers, um, hip hop artists, punk bands. We do this really sick streetwear company, like it's like a Dungeons and Dragons style streetwear called Cantrip that's got a couple streamers involved in it. I mean, a lot of different. We do, U.S. distribution for record labels.
Yep.
There's a lot of different situations here. You don't have to fit into any one demo, but yeah,
Yeah.
we can build you a store. We primarily use Shopify. It's an
Mm-hmm.
awesome e-com solution. It's my favorite by far. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's perfect, but it's a good, strong resource. You can build really, really clean looking sites, and it's very powerful. There's a lot of apps that can integrate into it, and we can run your fulfillment, and
Yeah.
that's inclusive of customer service and all that. And then that allows you the time to focus on the creative. And that's what I tell a lot of people that are on the fence. I just ask them, I'm like, where are your priorities? Do you want to spend time doing this yourself? Or do you want to invest that same amount of time into, writing new music, growing your brand, putting out more videos? Like, if you consider yourself a creative and you don't want to deal with the nuts and bolts of doing, fulfillment and stuff like that, then yeah, maybe you should outsource that to us or another merch company and have them run
Yeah.
the show. And then you basically get to, use your social media to promote it and put it out there. But you don't have to
Yeah.
deal with any of the logistics. You don't have to deal with anything behind the scenes. And yeah, it's pretty freeing to do that. It's just, what is that worth to you?
Totally. Something that I always tell my artists, or I guess more so when I was deeper in managing artists, is like, I guess the most basic level is you can do the first scenario we talked about. You can save up 200-300 bucks, buy 36 of your a basic like one color ink on a basic Gildan shirt, and basically double your money, right? Like get it shipped to you, fulfill your orders. I think it's pretty easy to sell 36 shirts and, double your money effectively after that. And I think that it's a good thing to start there because you kind of get a hands-on understanding with relatively low stakes, right? Worst thing that happens is you lose two or $300 and you end up hooking up your family with some shirts for the holidays and birthdays, whatever. More than likely, you'll figure it out. Maybe one or two of them get lost in the mail, whatever. You send people like it's like the stakes are very low, and it's a good way to understand it fully. But I think that as artists grow, what if you want to do 3 shirts? Now all of a sudden you're keeping track of the sizes and the breakdowns and the that. You want to do more designs, you're getting more of a demand. You're starting to be like, damn, I need to edit my video. I need to edit this song. I don't have time to send all this out. I think that it kind of comes back to echo your point of like, it doesn't have to be as complicated as it is that. Like when it feels heavy, then you know it's time to delegate. But
And
you don't have to like
I think that's a,
make it a
yeah, because I think when it starts to sort of suffocate you in other areas of your project, whatever that is, or if you find yourself not outputting, like if the demand's there and you find yourself not outputting new designs because you know that you're going to be the one that's staying up all night, packing those up, shipping them out, and you're like, I don't feel like it, then
right.
it's time to shift because you can pay if you're literally, if you find it to be burdensome and it's not any longer exciting and you're not putting out new stuff that is actually going to sell because you don't want to deal with the logistics, well, now it's time to pay somebody else to do it because you could be making money that you're just leaving out on the table. If you have a core audience that wants to buy your shit, you should be putting it out, and
Right. And
that's what I tell people. It's like, okay, is this slowing you down? If you had
yeah.
somebody else doing this for you, would you up more designs? Would you promote the store more? Would you really lean on that for a source of revenue? And if the answer is yes, then it's time to make that shift. It's time to make that shift.
Right. And then talk to me about that. Like, what would you say the standard rate is? Because again, I don't want to make this just like a big Overcast commercial,
I know.
but I want to educate people to like, I want somebody to be able to listen to this and then like have a discussion, like to do their research and have a discussion, be it your company or another company, and be like, all right, I kind of did the first round, or like, damn, I paid a little too much. I tried to do my own shirts. It's time. What's like a good percentage to expect that you'll pay a company for like running your store?
It's
Because typically it's percentages, right? It's not like
Yeah,
a
it depends. I mean,
okay.
normally that's the preferred situation because it's a lot easier, and it scales well. It's
Mm-hmm.
not because every company is going to have a different rate and a
Yeah.
different, way of accounting and how they do things.
Yep.
Here, I've been pretty adamant about keeping it very, very simple and very clean and very, hey, we do net deals, so we'll take a percentage of your profit after cost of goods. So we're not charging you twice on the same amount. And
Yeah. Explain that model in the simplest way. Cause I think
so,
that's a good way. It's a good base. You do keep it simple. If somebody can understand that, they can think with it for different companies.
so going super simple, and I'm throwing out numbers that are roundabout. I don't want to get too far into
Love it.
that because every situation is different. And
Totally.
but say you're brand new and
Mhm.
you're paying very simple math. This isn't how this works out at all, but you're selling your shirts for $25 and you're paying $5 for the shirt.
Yep.
We're going to take a percentage, a low percentage that's weighted to the artist, but we're going to take a percentage of the difference of that. So the $20.
Hmm.
Now that covers our time in packing up the order and getting it sent out. The customer service that comes with that, and that's the part where it gets weird and it gets different because every merch company does that structure differently. Some people charge for customer service, and
Right.
based on the package that you pay for them, tells you how much customer service you get. Is it Monday through Friday? Is it 7 days a week? Is it
Jeez.
I've seen deals. I've seen really bizarre merch deals where I'm like, this is really intense, and they're trying to make it sort of boutique, and you pick what features you want. And I don't,
Interesting.
I, I don't want to do things that way. I've never done things that way. It seems a little too complicated to make that. We try to
Yeah.
make it as
So
simple and clean and clear as possible. So it's like
so
you.
continue to explain that because I like that.
So wait, the other arrangements or
No, no, no. Like the a $5 shirt sold for
yeah,
$25.
they paid us $5 to produce the shirt. So
Hmm.
what we do is net. So it's of the profit. So on the $25 sale, you paid us $5 to make the shirt already. So we'll take a percentage of just the profit portion, the 20%, and
Yep.
then you get the
Of the
rest
$20.
of the $20. Right.
Right.
So
Yeah.
um, getting into the nitty gritty, the accounting's done quarterly, typically speaking, and again, every situation's different. But so you'll get a statement at the end of the quarter of, okay, this is how much you did in sales, this is how much your production bill was. Here's the difference. Here's the check. Send it out,
Yeah.
and it's that simple.
Is
And
it
that's
like what is it around? I feel like it's around 20% though, right? Like if you
common.
profit $20,
Yeah, 20.
you
That's a very common percentage, and
yeah.
deals that are different. They go down to 15, they go up to, I mean, depending where you're working at and what company you're with. I've seen crazy deals. I've seen where the company's taking 30, 40%. It
Yeah.
really
Well,
depends.
and to explain that, it's like to do customer service and fulfillment and all of the setup, there are certain parts of that that are effectively the same if you're selling 50 shirts a month or 5,000 shirts a month.
And
So I
that's,
understand where that gets tricky. But like I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's around 20% ish to manage a store
that's pretty normal
on yeah, yeah, yeah.
for a lot.
On the net is very rad too, not the gross.
Yeah, I feel like, and that's just me personally, but like doing it gross is a little strange because you've already charged them for the merch.
Right.
They've already
Right.
paid you for that. So to take a percentage of what you've already charged them is, it's kind of double dipping. It's kind of
Right. So like and to explain that to paint that the $25 shirt idea. So basically you're saying if a shirt costs $5 to make and it's sold for $25, if say your deal is 20% to have a store fulfill it, if you're doing it on the net, then you're doing that would be $4 out of the $20 profit. You're then paying your store to manage it and run it and fulfill it $4. So you would make 16. Whereas if you were to do it on the gross, they're taking 20% of $25, which then becomes $5. And maybe that only feels like a dollar there, but we're using small hypothetical numbers. And if you're selling thousands of shirts, that shit adds up quick.
big time.
And I think things like that are the things that, again, I don't want to overwhelm anybody listening to this, but that's why I like to just kind of break down a hypothetical. And I think in the very simplest form, to say a company that charges a percentage around 20, depending on circumstance, on net profit is a pretty reasonable thing if a store is doing your fulfillment.
I mean, and that's the thing is like we try to come to something that's fair and we're very transparent. I mean, even the stores, every store that we run, the artist also has their own login to the exact same store. You
Yes.
can see their order queues. They can run the same financial reports that we're running. It is 100% transparent. There's no weird. You get 2 audits a year to figure out what actually sold.
Yeah, yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
kind of
That gets
trust that
strange.
it. Like I don't like that setup. To me,
Right.
the agreement is, hey, don't go in there and start changing shit around. But here's a full access account because
Yeah.
I think that the transparency is important, and
Yep.
I think that's why people, we don't lock people into contracts. We're
Oh,
not.
that's another thing is certain if you're at that point and you want to work with a company, certain times you'll have to sign a contract to say that this company will exclusively do your merch for X amount of time. And maybe that you'll even end up having to do, there would be a difference between doing online merch or tour merch when that comes back. And certain times companies like a record deal would even advance you. Like you could sometimes get an advance where they'll be like, we'll give you 10,000 or however much dollars, depending on how big of an artist you are, to exclusively do all your merch. And though you might be like, yo, sick, I just got paid. Maybe the terms to that contract that you're signing are really fucking bad. And they're about to profit a lot more than 10K off that.
Nothing's free. If people are giving you something,
Right.
there's a reason. And
Right.
I tell people that all the time. Like
Yeah.
no one's out here being successful by just handing away buckets of free cash.
Right.
Everything has strings attached. And I
Yeah.
think that that's important, especially for young artists to understand. And sometimes an advance is necessary. Sometimes
Hmm.
you need an advance. There's some shit going on in your camp where you've got all these big plans. You need a way to fund them. You know that you're going to take a little bit of an L by doing that trade off, or at least the merch company thinks that they stand to profit from that situation, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's the business. There's nothing shady about that. It's you go to a bank and you take a loan, you're going to pay interest. I mean, that's just how the world works.
Totally.
But
Totally.
just be aware of that. And
Yeah.
especially artists that are blowing up, nothing's free. And it might seem like a big, oh, I could buy a new car in cash with this, but bet on yourself. I mean, if someone's interested in you enough to hand you a big bucket of cash, there's a reason.
Yeah. Maybe you could get that bucket yourself.
You could get that bucket yourself. I'm not saying you could, because a lot of merch companies and managers and labels bring a lot of really excellent shit to the table that you couldn't possibly do for yourself. But there's some shit
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
do by just doing a little bit of research, doing a little bit of legwork, and making some of those decisions for yourself. I think
So,
sort of in the music industry and hearing about these crazy, $1 million advance, whatever. I'm like, dude, that merch company made out like a bandit paying $1 million for that, because they
yeah.
probably sold millions of dollars worth of merch for that contract. And
Right, and it's really interesting. Like again, we're getting into bigger numbers and playing out bigger hypotheticals, but it's like to an artist, you could be, oh my God, I just got $1 million advance. But like, and that is such a big number that you're just stoked. But when you actually break it down, several million were made off of exactly that kind of thing. But I don't want to get too far into that.
that seems like
Going back to like me as like the hypothetical person getting into it. So basically, what I'm taking away is if I have a general knack and a general desire to do my own store, it can be as simple as finding a merch company, getting in touch with them. Maybe I provide the art, maybe I know somebody who designs it, or maybe I have an idea. That is then translated into a design. The merch company will probably tell you, like, hey, scale back the colors. It can end up, I guess, something that we could simply explain is every color that you end up putting on a shirt adds a little bit of extra money, like the extra ink and setting up the screen. So maybe a company will break it down and be like, hey, you have 6 colors on this. Really, you could get it done and make it look just as good with 2 or 3, something like that. Those different things, the amount of locations that it's printed on the shirt, The type of garment will all kind of vary in the cost. But if you're doing a bare bones, basic ass design, you could probably expect it should cost around $5 or $6. And then if you're really in the nitty gritty of it and you want to fulfill it yourself, awesome. You can do that. You put in the order. It's as simple as basically just being like X per unit. This is how many you ordered. This is what shipping costs. Maybe you pay tax depending on where you're at. And that's that. Go fulfill it. Or if you're getting to a spot where all of a sudden you realize that your fans and your followers and your supporters really like what you're doing, and you want to get more creative and you want to do more than one design, or your ideas are coming faster than your time to fulfill, then there's this option where you can go to a merch company and they will do all of your fulfillment. They'll run your store, they'll do all of that. And you're basically the idea machine. And for something like that, you're paying a percentage and they're doing the rest.
And
Did I summarize
yeah,
that?
that's a great summary because there is a point in everyone's career as they develop where they will need to outsource that task, and
Yeah.
you don't need to do it right at the beginning. You can start a free store on Big Cartel and pay Big Cartel. I don't even know what their fees are, but a service fee for a transaction fee for every sale or whatever, and keep it really low cost, low risk, no commitments, no big setups, and do it yourself. But then as you scale, you'll find that that's a task that you will make more money if you pay somebody else to do it, and you'll grow to that era, and then we're off.
Yeah. So another spot now that I want to talk about is like that's the very basics. That's like making a shirt or whatever. And that's kind of like hopefully the 101 of like the options that you can take. Something else that I've seen you continue to push boundaries on, which I think is really fun and really cool. So say you're at the point where you know you have a following and you want to do more than just a shirt. I have seen you make some cool shit lately. And this I think is a benefit where it's like if you go to a .com store, you're pretty much limited to like, do you want a hoodie or a t-shirt kind of thing. Um Talk to me about some of your favorite creative projects or like what you've been able to do. And I guess I should preface this is if you're gonna do something like this, you should be thinking with ordering a pretty decent amount of it because to make bespoke custom stuff on a small level does get expensive. But I've seen you do some cool stuff. Talk to me about the fun that you can have as you continue to grow as an artist and how creative you can get.
I think the timing of this podcast is excellent because we just put out probably one of my favorite collections projects that I've ever done, for one of our artists, Guapdad 4000, who is the funniest, realest motherfucker out there. Uh,
Yes. I'm so glad you brought this one up because I saw that project drop and I was like, "Ooh, it's
it's
good."
incredible. It's absolutely incredible. First of all, Guapdad as an artist is a true hustler, like in the purest sense. He gets after it and he grinds it. He was super, super involved in this project from start to finish. So the way he was so involved in developing it so that it was so reflective of stuff that he wants to wear. This is not stuff that he's like, oh, I think this will sell. Like he's like, no, I don't fucking wear joggers. I want sweatpants and I want them done this way and I want them on Champion and we're gonna make it happen. And he was like so excited, so involved. And that project, we've been working on it for months. It dropped, the whole capsule dropped last Monday. He put out a new single yesterday called Alpha. Go fucking check it out if you're into hip hop.
Guap Dad. Yeah.
It's really good. And that was a really fun one. And the collection turned out beautiful. One of the guys on his team, Paul Middleton, did the photography for the set, and it's breathtaking.
Yes.
We were
Which I also loved because there was a lot of tuner, like JDM tuner cars, which is totally like my
this
roots.
is your shit. I knew when you
Yeah.
saw that you would be like so fired up because I was like, Cram's a car,
Yeah.
dude. You will love
I
this shit.
saw that S13. I was like, all right, whoever directed this knows.
So they did a really cool thing with this particular collection. They did the whole photo set and they also did a video at the same time.
Oh, they
And
did a video? I didn't see the video.
watch it. It's incredible.
Oh, cool. Where is it? Is it on his page or YouTube or?
I think the link is in his bio now and still will.
Okay. I'm sure I can find it.
And it's on YouTube. The song's called Alpha. But they did the shoot, they did the video shoot and the photo set in the same one. So we dropped the capsule on Monday with these stunning, photos. The models are
Yeah.
breathtaking. They killed it. They're natural. They look
Yeah.
amazing in the stuff. But that's how this I saw it, and I'm like, these are obviously models, and they're so good at demonstrating this stuff. But this is how it looks in person. Like they did a really really good job of capturing. I think the big thing is like people are always kind of unsure what they'll look like in it, and companies use models because they want to present the very best. And these models are gorgeous and beautiful people, but also they demonstrated like the merch, that's what it really looks like, and
Yeah.
they killed it. And so much so, this photo set, Paul crushed it so much on this photo set that I had a whole store built before I got the photos. I saw some previews from the shoot and I'm like, okay, I kind of know what I want the site to look like. And I built out something. And I got the photo set and I deleted my whole store build because I was like, this is not sufficient. Like, we've got
You
to
were like, yeah.
elevate this and make this so photocentric because I was hyped. Like, I got the photo set and I'm like, it was on a Sunday. I'd come in to make, I was just going to plug the photos in and we were going to be live. And I'm like, no, fuck this. I spent 12 hours on Sunday doing a whole new site build. This is the day before launch. And I'm like, this will not suffice.
Yeah.
This photo set is too gorgeous to not make this store as photocentric as possible. And
Yeah.
I think you saw
And
the site probably. That's how it came out. I mean,
yeah.
the site is probably my favorite build. It's my favorite
Yeah,
collection.
and let this be a lesson. Like one thing that I wanted to talk about was like I feel like your fans and supporters can fucking tell. Like when you put care into something, when you put that much thought into a photo shoot and like compliment the merchandise that you made so well, like everyone can tell. You as the store builder, as the merch company was like, fuck this, I'm putting more time in. Like people can tell when you put thought and care into things. And I loved seeing that. I'm so glad you brought that example up.
Was
Also,
I just the timing's perfect because it literally was probably one of my favorite collections we've ever dropped.
oh,
And
it's so cool. Tell me what the collection was because there was some really cool items in it too.
we did like a motocross style jersey
Yep.
that was a custom cut and sew piece. We did a sweatsuit. We did like a nice comfort colors kiwi tee. And basically, they'd sent a whole tech of designs, and we worked
You
together
did
over
like
many.
bike shorts too, no?
Yeah, so we did this collection. We did like a whole women's section too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not always represented super strong, and that was something that everyone was really, really excited about. Making sure that there's pieces that they're not just unisex pieces; they're pieces specifically for women that they're fucking jacked on. We did like a crop top
Yeah.
jacket. We did, these really, really nice high waisted biker shorts, and they look on model. They look fucking stunning. Like I'm so psyched on how they turned out. We did like
Yep.
two colorways of a hoodie, did like a cool tote bag. We had these like fun little accessories, and this drop morphed a lot over time. But I'm really really happy with the output. Just the whole
Yeah.
collection looked
Okay, so now me as podcast listener, I'm listening and I'm like, yo, I'm in, I'm sold. They've inspired me. I'm gonna get at my merch game, but I'm so inspired now that I'm thinking of custom pieces and I want to make something cool. I want to make something I've only dreamed of. What realistically to make it any kind of profitable as an artist, like about how many units can you think with before you should be getting into the
like if we're talking
spicy customs?
like the jersey, for
Yeah.
example, like you're gonna want to do at least 100 pieces like this, and you're gonna.
Okay.
The other thing with this is you're gonna need to know that you can sell this shit at a retail rate, and people will buy it at a retail rate that makes sense with the cost because these types of items are not cheap to produce. They're just not.
Yeah, it's not your $5 or $6.
Not a 5 or 6 for sure.
Right.
There's a lot. There's months of R&D that go into pieces like this, and that costs money. There's just
Right. So that's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like anything is possible. Like really, I think now if you find the right company and like if you dream it, you can do it. And we've even made some cool custom pieces
yeah,
together, but it becomes a different thing. It becomes like prepare to have some months go into it. There's not just a random stock of this. You're going to have to go source it. You're going to have to figure out how it's cut and cut and sewn.
so
Um,
Yeah, I mean, and we'll handle that, but you got to plan ahead for these types of things. This is not something where you're like, hey, I have this idea. Can I get it back next week? That's not
Right.
realistic. This, and I think that and I definitely think this in ecom, the Amazon era has really warped our perception of what a realistic like turn time is for stuff that we want. So if you're an artist and you're thinking about developing all these custom pieces, give it some time. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna take time. 93 Feet of Smoke, who is an artist that
Our
we worked on
guy.
together. Mark, great, great fucking human being. Really cool ideas, like really, really cool merch ideas. And
Yes.
we're about to drop a new collection for Mark. And this is stuff that he's so fucking creative and he comes up with such cool shit. And
Mm-hmm.
but it takes time and he understands that. And so he
Yeah.
planned ahead and he's like, hey, these are custom pieces that I want. And he's so intense about quality and making sure that it turns out exactly as he envisions it. And he's willing to give it the time. And his
Yeah.
fans appreciate that. Like
Yeah.
they know that he put that much passion and energy and sort of creative juice into outputting this product, and they respond to that. And I think that's
Yeah. I
part of what
think
makes people like Mark so successful. Because and Guap too, like these artists, they care so much about what they put out. They're not just putting out a random tee. I mean, they put out t-shirts too because they want to put out stuff that everyone can buy, but they also tailor these like really specific products, and they put a lot of time and effort and energy into developing something that's
absolutely.
a
Ooh,
piece,
I
and
have
that
to add to that actually. I think there's levels of that as well. And I want to compliment specific, I guess I have to say specifically Overcast here. Again, I'm not trying to make this an Overcast commercial,
other
but
companies do this.
I remember before the version 3 tour, the guys were excited about custom stuff, but I kind of had to be not even the bearer of bad news, but I was like, yo, look, we only have a couple weeks before this tour goes out. Like, I don't know how custom we'll be able to get, but there were two things that you did. I'm going to talk about this one specific one first. I was with 93 and we went to downtown LA and he found this random dude that had split t-shirts.
I remember
And
what you're talking about.
literally, like, and again, I have to only say it specifically for Overcast. You probably could get another merch company to do this, but I thought it was really cool that, to his credit and to y'all's credit, he's like, listen, I know we only have so much time, but I want to do something special. And he literally brought you this box of blanks that he sourced. And he was like, can we do something cool with this? And you made a split design tee. And that was a cool compromise of, yes, it was special and custom, but he did that like weird hands-on, found the garment. And then to y'all, all you had to do was set up the screen for it. And it ended up being really special. And the other one that I want to say is we together made a pair of sweatpants that I feel like was a staple in the scene, and a small scene for a minute. But the Shinigami sweatpants was something that I think for the 6 months after those were made, you saw just all of the homies and everyone wearing those.
Because they're
And that
cool,
was,
and people like develop these cool ideas and they get creative, and they're not just doing. There's nothing wrong. Most of the merch I wear as a human being is very straightforward, big, a front print or pocket print, back print. But there are these people that think bigger than that and
yeah,
dress bigger than that, and like have
yeah,
these fun ideas and just figure out how to fucking make them happen. And I think
yeah. And
that's a special type. Not everybody
totally.
wants to get after it like that or has those fun ideas, but that's
But
what makes those types of artists cool and special.
and I think that that's why I wanted to talk about this with you on this podcast, is like, I want to encourage anybody that thinks that they could make an extra bit of money and add some value to their fans by making merchandise. It doesn't have to be that. Like, start with a shirt, see if your fans like it. But I know the feeling of working with artists and them being so frustrated that they have a vision of something that they want to do, and a merch company comes back and they're like, we can put pink ink on black shirt instead of white ink, and you're like, all right, I'm so bummed. So like, I love to see your excitement of like challenge accepted. And I should also compliment Bailey on this. I have not spoken nearly enough. Like, we're talking about this like as if you've only done it. You and Bailey are partners in crime. And when we were making these things together, it was the back and forth, and Bailey's excitement as well to be like, challenge accepted. Like, here's this crazy idea.
let's figure out how to make it happen. Like with those sweatpants, he drew those on an iPad. He had an idea and he literally hand drew them. And I don't know if we gave you the right file. We gave you whatever he drew, and you're like, all right, here we go. And we got blanks and we found the right ones. And I think that's really exciting and encouraging to have as an artist, to know there are companies out there where like maybe you need to get a specific amount, like a minimum order quantity. But you can do some crazy shit now, and companies will be excited to do it.
I think that's like going back to the like business part, not to jump too far back, but I think,
Please.
bringing up Bailey, like that's a perfect example of people that work well together. Like Bailey and I were friends long before we did this shit. And being in business with your friends can be a really tough thing to navigate. But Bailey and I constantly are pushing each other to a totally aggravating point, I'm sure, on both ends. But, this shop would not be what it is without him. And I do want to take a moment to say that, because he is also a fucking hustler, and like,
Yeah.
way more than me, in the sense of when someone brings a project, I'm like the voice of like, I don't know, it's kind of a bold fucking undertaking for 2.5 weeks. And he's like, we'll figure it out. We'll get it done. And that's who he is. It's just how he is. And that's something that I love, because I don't view myself as a naysayer, but I can be overly realistic sometimes, where I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And Baby's like, we'll make it happen. We can do this,
Yeah.
and push our boundaries as a company and what we've been able to do, because, and sometimes it doesn't always pay off, but a lot of times, most of the time, I would say it does. And it's what's taught us how to do new shit. Like someone wanted to print lunch boxes, and it was printing on metal. It's a completely different process. And I'm like, I don't know about this, dude. And he's like, nope, we'll figure it out. And this isn't some operation that like where Bailey and I don't know how to print. We both have done every job you can do in every position, from cleaning screens to printing to doing e-com to working with clients.
Yeah. I remember even you guys doing jeans for like a crazy high-end streetwear brand where the project was insane. Like you took denim from like 100 different, I don't know. It was like 1,000,000 pieces of denim, and Bailey's like, we'll do it. We'll make a custom mold. We'll sew it together like this. We'll do this, this, and this. And I'm like,
tense. I mean, that project is great. I mean, it's like custom embroidery, like across multiple panels, and getting that to line up. It's these types of projects are very hands-on. They're very difficult, but you got to figure it out. I mean, you just have to fucking figure it out. And that's the kind of dude that Bailey is, and that's what makes him a great business partner. And it's good to play off people like that. It's good to be surrounded, not just in business, but if you're an artist or a podcaster or whatever, it's good to surround yourself with people that inspire you and motivate you, push you to be better. And I'm surrounded by all sorts of people like that constantly motivate me and inspire me. And that I'm like, man, this person fucking hustles, and they don't just do this, they do this. The guy that's behind me, Des, this dude is like always working on new music, always doing shit. Davey, who's my lead art dude, he's in Bamakara, and he's been super helpful with this for the children project that we've got. He's always grinding on that. Andres to sit next to him does Nature World. There's everyone's got all these cool hustles and things that they're working on, and that's really inspiring to be around. And I think that's, if there's any takeaway from any of this shit that's not directly merch related, it's that, like, surround yourself by people that motivate you and go out and get it, because that they will push you to be the best version of you. And the most,
dude, and to add to that, I think to pay you a credit, something that's like, when I was deeper in specifically just managing artists and setting up, like as a manager, a huge part of it is getting merch set up. There is something about like working with the wrong company where it's nothing but problem and nothing about like, we should be safe, we should be conservative. Are you sure you want to do this? This would be cheaper. That sucks the soul out of you. Whereas like we're in a creative industry, and when you can go to something that you could consider daunting or even boring, of like making merch, and have it feel like that, it sucks. But then on the other side of it, to be riffing with your artist or to be just thinking of ideas and then be like, All right, yeah. And to go to your merch company and have them match you with excitement to be like, oh damn, we're about to get crazy, huh? And hit with like that Bailey yes, like to be like, I don't know about this one, guys. And then to be like, we'll do it. Let's go. And like that is so encouraging to surround yourself and to work with people in every facet of your business, where instead of hitting this boring opposition or this whatever, you're hitting like, you know that when you pick up that phone and you come with that idea, that it's going to be this excitement to be like, oh damn, you're on that level now, huh? Let's go. Like that's exciting. That's what makes it worth it. So
But
that's cool.
that's the part of my job I like the most. Like, and just going back to the Guap Dad thing, because we've already talked about that.
Yeah.
Developing that capsule was so much fucking fun, and executing it and seeing it come together and seeing the video. I mean, it makes me love, while it's stressful and there's a lot going on and there's a lot to, you know, manage and make sure it falls into place. Watching projects like that come together and the artists and the teams being psyched on the output, wanting to wear their own shit because they've developed it in a way that they love it, that makes it all worthwhile. You know, it makes all
Yep.
the stress and crazy shit that went into it. That's where it executes. And seeing people post on Instagram being like, I got my shit, I love it, and they're head to toe in it, that's fucking awesome. And that's what makes me excited and stoked to do what I do. And it's why I love this shit, you know?
Dude, what a perfect spot to leave it. I love that. And thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for being the person you are and being a positive force in what could be such a taxing and grinding industry. I was really, I wanted to share your story. I wish we could have met up in person,
Dude,
but maybe we'll have you back on afterwards. I'll come up with some even more specific questions and we can come at it. But this was amazing for me. Like after conversations like this, I'm re-inspired and I'm like, let's go. Let's think of some creative shit. So thank you.
yeah, thanks for having me. We've been talking about this forever. So I wish we could have done it in real life. I'm still trying to learn how to play Settlers of Catan.
Dude.
But I'm glad we could make it happen in such a crazy time, and I hope that I hope it resonates with somebody, and they get after it and kind of create their own bring their own ideas to life. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So here's where it's allowed to be a commercial. Somebody listens to this, they relate to you, they like you, they say, you know what? It's time. I'm finna make some merch. I don't feel like doing any research. I trust these boys. I'm gonna reach out. Where can they find you? As you're like choking on water.
Yeah, I mean, the company is called Overcast Merch. You can find us on Instagram. You can drop me an email, andrew@overcastmerch.com. We'll riff on the worst timing for this.
The worst timing.
Yeah, we'll bring it to life, and big or small, doesn't matter what the project is. Let's get after it. See what we can do together.
I love it. All right, dude. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me, buddy. Talk to you soon.